a series of videos about your psychic powers, your superpowers, your psychic abilities, however you want to frame it, okay? And this is coming from the knowledge and the truth that everybody has access to this, okay? Everybody. It's not one special person. Literally, this is all inside of our DNA, okay? So you either with it or you ain't with it, okay? And that's okay. So before we get started, make sure to hit the like button. I would really appreciate that. And let's go ahead and get into it, okay? So basically for this video, I'm going to go over the different types of psychic abilities. I put that in quotes because, again, these are abilities that we already have. And really, these psychic abilities are just expansions of a lot of the senses that we already have. It's just kind of allowing you to have more knowledge about how you can expand these senses, okay? So we are going to get into it. Before we get into it, I just need to make sure we have one thing. We're gonna check real quick, make sure this is, because like my YouTube is telling me that it is not on live right now, and I need this to be on live. And I see there's one person here, so I think we good to go. I think we good to go. And we good. Okay, great. So that is good to go. So let's get into it. So the first thing we're gonna go over is, how to know if you're psychic. So a lot of people, like I said, everybody has this ability. Everybody in the world has this ability, okay? It's not something that one person has. It's not something that only, I guess, mediums have. Everybody has this ability, and I'm gonna prove to you right now how, okay? I want y'all to think about one of the times in your life that you have experienced telepathy. I think every single human being has experienced some form of telepathy, whether it was with a sibling or a person you're in a relationship with. Usually that's when that usually comes out, because when you're closer to somebody, that's what really starts to bring out these abilities that we all have. And so for example, it's like you're cooking in the kitchen. I think everybody has this. You're cooking in the kitchen, and you forget to add onions. You're like, oh my God, I need to get the onions. You're just thinking it, right? You're not saying it out loud. You're not reaching for the onions, you're just thinking it. And then somebody right behind you is like, hey, do you want this onion? Without even saying anything, right? That's a form of telepathy. That's a form of these psychic abilities that we all have, okay? And I'm saying this because I really want y'all to understand and understand that, like I said earlier, anybody has these abilities. Everybody has these abilities. I know y'all know this because everybody has been through this. I'm pretty sure everybody, especially those who are in relationships, all of y'all have had this ability, okay, to communicate without speaking, okay? Sometimes it's through feeling too, maybe you don't say anything, but it's like you walk into the house and you already know that your partner is feeling like upset or something before they can even say anything, right? You can already feel there's a change in the air, right? This is a form of telepathy. This is something that we all have, right? And so when I talk about the context of psychic abilities, it's really important to recognize that, again, this is something that we have within our bodies. Is something that everybody has access to, and everybody has the ability to expand these abilities too, okay? So I really wanted to start with that. And then there's other ways of really expressing and like understanding and experiencing these abilities at the most basic level. So I'm gonna go through, in this video, I'm gonna go through the different clairs, and I'm gonna explain to you guys what clairs means, which is really simple when you start to think about it, okay? But I'm gonna explain to y'all the different clairs, okay? So, like clairsentience, right? Claircognizance, clairvoyant, that's the most popular one. When mediums are like, oh my God, I see dead people, or I hear dead people, when people have passed away, they have clairvoyance. Or even, I remember like watching this video about the psychic who specializes in relationships. So he's able to channel the other person that you are in a relationship with without that person being there, right? And it's very, 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 very interesting. But I want y'all to recognize that, okay? So we're gonna go through the different clairs, and then I'm gonna talk about I'm gonna touch a little bit on the expansion of that at the end of this video, okay? So let me Let me get my list out. Well, I guess I don't need a list. Okay, so let's go through the first one then. The first one's going to be clairvoyance, right? This ability to see or hear, but usually see the unknown. And you put that in quotes, right? Because the unknown or the invisible is always visible, but you know, there's just certain programming, and there's certain lifestyles and quote unquote societal norms that have kind of inhibit us from seeing these things. But everybody has this ability to see the unknown. Okay, so for example, you know, a medium is able to see, you could say ghosts, or in some contexts it's not even a ghost, they're really just tapping into the, I don't want to say like multiverse. I'm going to say multiverse just for the context of this conversation. I'm not going to really get into the depth of the multiverse and putting that in quotes, because I don't think that's the right word for what's actually going on. But I don't really think it's ghosts that they're seeing. I think it's just a remnants of the past in relation to where we are right now in this present moment. I hope some of y'all got that. I know that was a lot, but my point is, that's, you know, clairvoyant. And they also have the ability to see what's not there too. So it doesn't necessarily have to be people who have passed away, right? It can be spiritual beings that everybody else doesn't really see. Okay, so for example, like they can see like spiritual creatures like dragons and elves. They all exist, but again, we have a veil that is about to be very very dramatically lifted soon. But I want y'all to recognize that, you know, again, everybody has that ability at the most basic level. And I think the basic level for this, there might be even another basic level for this, but for me, the basic level for this is seeing auras, right? Everybody has this ability to see auras, okay? Everybody has that ability. And you can start to learn the basics of that in different classes about clairvoyance, in developing your psychic powers workshop. I talk about how to develop that power within you through meditation. It's not even through watching a video or you know, decalcifying the pineal gland. It's simply through a practice that anybody can do, okay? But that's how you can start to really basically tap into that ability that, again, everybody has, okay? I want to say another example of clairvoyance is when people, I don't want to say, I had a friend, it's like they see colors with numbers, right? Those people are also clairvoyants, like a basic part of clairvoyance, okay? I would even say artists are also they have a basic part of clairvoyance, because they're able to take something, take a memory, right? And they're able to recreate it on a canvas, right? So they're able to see something that's not there by visualizing what they're about to make, and then paint or draw or do whatever, you know, they're meant to do with that piece of paper, okay? So that's clairvoyance. The next one is claircognizance. Let's talk about claircognizance real quick. So claircognizance is clear knowing. So that's the other thing too. Clair means clear, okay? And this is a really, really important thing to understand when you're talking about clairsentience, okay? Because the name clear is in the word, okay? Meaning that you gotta really clear the physical, mental, and spiritual aspects of yourself if you really want to heighten your abilities, okay? That's a key for some of y'all. So I know some of y'all picked that up, okay? But yeah, you've absolutely got to clear the space, clear your physical space, your home, your studio, your apartment, clear that space, but also clear your temple, right? Okay, so claircognizance. Claircognizance is clear knowing. So I think a lot of people, they mistake this for intelligence. A lot of people who are highly intelligent, they have claircognizance. They're able to just know things, right? And for other people, it seems like, oh my God, this person's a genius. Like, wow, but and like some people are better than this than others, right? But they actually are just really, really, really tapped into their claircognizance. to the point where they don't have to really think about anything. They can just know the answer, right? Without even thinking about it. That's claircognizance. And a lot of blockages for claircognizance is that, you know, when you're younger, and a lot of this is projected onto us by TV shows and programming, but we won't get into that. Okay, we won't get into that. But when you were younger, you know, we're taught not to be know-it-alls. We're taught not to be smart. We're taught not to talk smart, right? And so a lot of people with claircognizance, oftentimes they'll have some kind of trauma connected to that from when they were a kid that actually blocked them from really tapping into their claircognizance. And so when they're older, they might have like strayed away from that, when in fact they actually need to kind of tap back into claircognizance and just kind of tap into that energy. Another example of claircognizance is like just knowing, right? So if somebody asks a question, and it's not like you really thought about it, but somebody asks a question, you just know the answer to it, okay? And sometimes like these people could be talking about a topic that you've never studied in your life. You have never studied in your life, but some way, somehow, you can answer the question, okay? It's like you just have the knowing. It's just clear knowing, okay? You are just tapped into that. And again, this is something that everybody has the ability to do. Obviously, one of the biggest ways to expand your claircognizance is going to be to meditate. Okay, y'all already know what I was gonna say. You already know, okay? Meditate is so, so, so important. But especially for those of y'all who want to get into claircognizance. And I'm not just talking to people who got good grades in school, or who were deemed smart, I guess, in that academic system. I'm talking to really everybody, and especially for those who were actually told the opposite, right? Again, this system, especially in the United States, I would even say Western system, they do a really good job of dimming the light of geniuses. And so I want y'all to really take that into consideration, okay? So especially if you're somebody who's listening and you've been told like, oh, you're not smart enough to do this, you're not, you know, that's not true, okay? Start to meditate. And actually, sometimes it's even better when you didn't do good in school, because you already have an empty mind. But anyway, we won't get into that right now. But make sure to meditate, and you can tap into that claircognizance, and you can start to really flip the script and step into the storyline where you are regarded as a genius, where you are regarded as intelligent, if that's what you truly desire, where you are regarded as somebody who knows, okay? And of course, the other big thing that's really gonna help you with claircognizance is wisdom, which only comes with age, okay? So obviously my claircognizance is not at its best right now because I'm so young, but I'm sure when I'm much, 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 much older, that claircognizance is gonna just flow through real quick, okay? A lot of monks who have studied for decades, they also have a very clear claircognizance, and that's kind of what helps them have the ability to just kind of know what answers to give you. It's the same thing with priests too, and pastors, who, you know, if you talk to them, it's like they know exactly what you need to hear. They know exactly what to say. You don't even have to give them the whole context of your question or what exactly is happening at home. They just know what answer to give you. They're tapped into their claircognizance, okay? Again, these are abilities that it's not part of any religion. It's not part of any like spirituality. It is in our DNA, is encoded in the intelligent design of a human being, okay? Period. Like that's what it is. It's nothing new. It's nothing I don't know how to put it. It's nothing different from it's nothing constructed by humans. It's literally part of what it is to be human, okay? Okay, so the next one is clairaudience, okay? So clear hearing. So these people are usually really, really good listeners, so they can get into therapy, or they can also get into music. Not necessarily with playing instruments. Doesn't mean they're gonna be good at instruments. This just means that they know how to listen. So a lot of producers have clairaudience. A lot of music engineers have clairaudience. They know how to listen to a song. They know how to listen to a song and add what needs to be added to a song, or receive what's needed to be added to the song. That's clairaudience, okay? Again, doesn't necessarily mean you're good at playing instruments. You don't have to be good at playing instruments in order to produce a track, okay? I know a lot of producers, they don't know how to play any instrument, but if you give them a beat, they know how to throw something on there and make it sound good, okay? So that's clairaudience. The other thing with clairaudience is going to be ringing in your ears. So if you hear a lot of ringing in your ears, that's also going to be a sign of clairaudience, okay? And there's levels to that too, and recognize that, you know, when you hear ringing in your ears, you might start off hearing the same type of ringing at the beginning, right? But as you level up with clairaudience, you start to hear different frequencies, okay? And that's going to help you know that you are evolving your clairaudience. You're expanding your ability to hear, okay? A lot of blockages with this. Obviously, some people won't be against this, but I'm telling you now. One of the blockages to this is, you know, listening to like loud music all the time, right? I think it's okay in moderation. But if you listen and like blast in your car, like every single time you drive, I would recommend not to do that. I know some of y'all like, I don't know if I can do it. It's okay. If you can start with 1 day a week, that's good. That's a start. But just really tapping into the sounds that are here, like in nature. Does that make sense? So it's kind of like now, right? There's no music being played, so you can just listen to the birds or the wind. If you can listen to that, if you can hear that. You listen to the silence, right? And a lot of people who are clairaudient, these are the people who they like silence too. They appreciate the silence. But if you really want to tap more into those abilities, that's really going to help you too, okay? And again, remember, right? Because it's clairaudient, it's clear hearing. If you want clear in your hearing, you got to tune everything out, okay? So of course, what else will help with this? Meditation, right? Y'all know this. Y'all know this. So that is clairaudience. I feel like there was one more thing I wanted to say about clairaudience. I talked about blockages. Oh, I guess, okay, so also mediums, they can also hear the words of people who have passed, or you know, they can hear the words of maybe spirits that they're channeling, and not really spirits, I don't want to say spirits, but beings or frequencies, right, that they're channeling. Because remember, everything has a frequency too. Every single thing. This phone has a frequency. This head wrap has a frequency. My earrings have a frequency. Okay, this hoodie has a frequency. Every single thing has a frequency. Okay, I cannot express that enough. And so they'll hear different frequencies also with clairaudience. I feel like I forgot one thing with clairaudience, but we're gonna move on, okay? So that was clairaudience, clairvoyance, claircognizance. Okay, great. So now we're gonna talk about the senses. Clairalience. I hope I wrote that right. Clairalience is the next one. So that's clear smell, okay? And I want to pair this with clairgustinance too, which is clear taste. A lot of chefs have this, and if they don't have it, when they go to chef school, they train themselves to have these abilities, right? So again, this is at the basic level, but it's like you can smell the steam coming from a soup, right? And you already know what it needs and what it doesn't need. You don't have to taste it. You just need to smell it, and then you're like, okay, it's gonna need this, this, and this, and that's it. That's an example of the basics of clairalience, okay? I really hope I wrote that right. I don't know. I'm like looking at my little note, and my Mac doesn't know how to write it correctly. I don't even think it has clairalience in its dictionary. So we're gonna go with whatever I wrote. Okay, so that's clairalience. So that's at the basic level, right? Still clear taste also, right? Chefs, they're able to taste the soup and know what it needs, right? Or they're able to taste whatever they made, and they can tell you, okay, it's too acidic, or it needs a little bit more sugar, right? Or it needs a little bit more of this spice. Like they know what it needs and what it doesn't need, okay? And so it's really, really, really important to kind of tap into that. So what's gonna help you with this? Cooking, okay? I know there's a few of y'all out there who are like, I don't know how to cook. It's okay, just start. Just start, okay? But it's really important to learn how to cook. I think it's a basic ability that everybody should just be tapped into, okay? It's necessary. But that's going to really help you kind of alleviate those. And a really good example of this, and I'm going to do a video about this show too, probably maybe next week or the week after. There's a show called Moving, and there's one character, she's like the mom of the show. It's a Korean show. But she has these abilities. All of her senses are heightened, right? So she's able to taste something, and then she knows the recipe like that. So that would be like an evolved version of that ability, okay? Mediums, they have another evolved version of this ability where they're able to taste things or smell things that aren't physically there, okay? And usually this is attached to like a person who's passed away, or maybe it's just like a memory of from the past or even from the future. Again, I'll make another video at some point about what I mean in that context, or maybe actually I'll put that in the school. We'll talk about that in the school, on the school site. So, but they're able to taste it. So for example, they could be walking around the house, right? They haven't bought oranges in months. There's no orange scented spray or anything, but they just smell oranges out of the blue, okay? Out of nowhere, and then it goes away. This is an example of Clairalience, okay? So that's that. Okay, so the next one is Clairtangency, so clear touch or feeling. A lot of mediums use this to, whenever they're trying to channel somebody, they always say, bring something of the loved one that you want me to channel. That's them using clairtangency, okay? On the basic level, a lot of people who are actually clairtangent, they just like to touch things. They like to touch things with texture, sorry. So a lot of these kids, right, they love the fuzzy, the fuzzy blankets, or like I don't even know what they're called, but the beads that they sew in, and you like flip it one way, it's one color, they flip it the other way, it's another color. That's what I mean by that. So clairtangency. Kids who go to the grocery store, that's another one. If you go to the grocery store and you see those kids who are touching everything as they walk down the aisles, I'm laughing because that was me. That is clairtangency. They're very sensitive to touch, okay? And so just really empowering them, or if that's you, empowering yourself to really tap into that. A pet would really help with this because it allows you to really just tap into that sense of touch. And it really allows you to tap into that sense of feeling, okay? Okay, so the next one is, and the last one is Claircognizance, okay? And this one is your ability to see the future. Everybody has this ability, again, and the simplest way to do this is by tapping into your dreams, okay? Now, some of y'all, you already have dreams about the future, and in my class, I explain exactly like what the differences are. But for this context, I want to give you guys a really simple way of analyzing this. So, seeing into the future, right? We all have dreams. Usually when I have a dream that is about the future, not necessarily a vision, but a dream about the future, it's always in a random context, in a really random context. Like it's like something I haven't thought about, something I never think about, and it just kind of pops up in my dream. And it gives me kind of an insight into the future, okay? So that would be Claircognizance. Another one would be tarot readers also have this ability. If you do use your tarot cards to see the future, you can help people tell them about the future. And then also people who play with the, not play, but they use the crystal ball as a mechanism to tap into the future. That will also help you too. But of course, with all of these, like meditation is really, really, really gonna help you with this, okay? So you really want to make sure that whenever you're practicing any of these or trying to really amplify these abilities, you absolutely, absolutely need to make sure that you're clear. Your body is clear physically, mentally, spiritually, okay? Meaning, if you're going to give attention to this, give energy to this, make sure you're doing it on an empty stomach, okay? That's really going to help you keep your mind clear. Now, this might not apply for everybody. I have heard of some people who they don't necessarily need to clear their stomach to tap in. That's okay. But in my experience, it really, really helps, okay? Okay, so I think that's going to be it for the clairs. I want to know if y'all have any questions. Let me see. Okay. If y'all have any questions, let me know. Anything about developing your psychic powers or psychic blockages. If not, I want to talk real quick about getting into a trance state, okay? And when I say a trance state, I mean a state of mind where you can really focus your attention onto the abilities that you want to see manifested, and intend for them to actually manifest. Okay, so the first thing, emptying your stomach. Okay, the second thing, if you can't empty your stomach, do some sort of fasting. Okay, there's levels to fasting. So if you have never fasted before or never been on a strict diet, then I would just go to, being vegan for a day. Okay, a day or a week, whatever you feel you're capable of. If you're a vegan, I would highly recommend going on, I guess the next step would be a raw diet. Okay, so try to do that for at least a day. If you're somebody who already eats raw, I would highly suggest going on a fruit only diet, or even doing some kind of juicing diet too. That'll really, really help you. Just to help everything clear, because you have to remember, like, our gut is our second brain, right? And so if our gut is spending all of this time and energy digesting, what's it gonna leave for, for our brain to do? If the brain is like still sending signals saying, hey, we need to digest this food, okay? You need to make sure your gut is clear. So even if you could just wait like 2 hours after your last meal to do any of this, that would also help too. But again, it would really be beneficial to just do it like first thing in the morning, when your stomach is empty, okay? That would really, 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 really help. Binaural beats will also help you get into a state where your awareness and focus is heightened, and you can focus on the ability that you really want to bring into your life, and you want to bring more of into your life. And then stream of consciousness writing is the other thing that y'all can do, okay? Use that stream of consciousness. That is so, so, so important, okay? And one last thing, and I feel like I should have put this at the beginning, but it's okay. How to know if you're psychic. So I already told y'all at the beginning, right? The biggest way to know that you're psychic is telepathy. I feel like everybody is in tune with telepathy. A lot of psychics also tend to be empaths. Do you have to be an empath to be psychic? No, you don't. You do not. But I have found that people who aren't, once they tap into their psychic abilities, they do tend to become more empathic, more compassionate, right? Because it's kind of, in this stage, in terms of like our evolution as human beings and our ability to expand our powers and our abilities that's innate in our bodies, it kind of comes with the contract right now. There will be a time where it doesn't have to, and it's going to be really easy to tap into our abilities without having to do all of this work. But I think that's going to be a couple hundred years from now. That's to be completely honest. So if you want to get a head start, if you really want to tap into that, I really suggest to go ahead and start working on that now, okay? Because it's really going to help you in the long run. And remember, like, the key is to be clear, okay? Clear physically, clear spiritually, clear mentally, okay? So mentally, you got to do that emotional processing if you need it. You might not need it, but if you need it, you got to do that emotional processing, okay? If you get triggered, you got to do that emotional processing, okay? You got to learn how to let go of the attachment that you have to the old way that you would react to your emotions. To clear out your thoughts too, meditate consistently, though. It's not known like, I'm gonna meditate for like 30 minutes or an hour. No, it's about consistency, okay? It's all about consistency. Meditate consistently. So even if it's 1 minute a day, hey, that's good enough, okay? That's it. That's all that it's about. So spiritually, really empowering yourself to get a spiritual bath, I would say once a month if that's possible, to really just cleanse yourself. Another thing that actually can really help you let go of any past spiritual attachments is cutting your hair. That, to be completely honest, that will really help you too. Have I done it? Well, I guess I did it once, but I haven't done, like, shave my head bald. I haven't done that yet, and I don't know if I will. But But that can actually really help release any past energy that's still sticking to you, okay? So I think that's going to be it for today since there's no questions. But that's just a quick overview of the different clairs and kind of what you guys might be experiencing. Obviously, it's not all of the experiences. Obviously, people, you know, there's what, billions of people on Earth. Like, obviously, you know, I haven't said everybody's experience with these abilities, but this is just giving y'all a little taste, okay? And so if you want to know more about this, I put a quiz to help you guys figure out if you do have psychic abilities on the Wellness Library, okay? So the link is in the description below, and I will see y'all hopefully soon, okay? I love y'all so much. Peace.